Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Hope everyone is doing well. Donna is doing it. Good morning. Good to see you. I'm going to play a song really quick. Making a cup of coffee, and I'll be right back. I'm feeling a little Ryan Upchurch this morning. So if you're not a country fan, maybe come back in a couple minutes. But this is probably, it's definitely in my top 5 of all-time favorite songs, which is rare for me to move my list around, but once I found this guy, fucking love his music. Ryan Upchurch. And he doesn't copyright his music, so he doesn't care if you play it on YouTube, which is awesome. Be right back. Tommy, good morning. I'm making some coffee. Be right back. Don't worry, Iran will still be there.
Church. Sometimes I get stoned in my backyard, lay off in the tall grass so my view is the stars. I think about nothing, get to clear my thoughts from all the thunder and lightning, so I feel a spark. Sometimes I get higher than the Colorado Rockies, hoping that the county sheriff don't stop me. Like Charlie Daniels said, you shouldn't smoke at dough, but damn it, I can't help, I love Rolling Stone. With the windows rolled down and the radio up, sweet tea full in my solo cup, listening to the humming of the 44, sounding like a concert. I'm a beat up door, arm hanging out the window, smiling away, smoking on some ground where the cattle graze. Charlie Daniels said you shouldn't go smoke at dough. Hell, I can't help, I love Rolling Stone. Yeah, I love Rolling Stone. Smoke rolling round the cab with the dome light on, looking like a stage for a Leonard Skinner song. Hanging out with Mary Jane, but she's making the time go slow. Making memories with my buddies through the thick green smoke, puff passing out the windows of my old Tahoe. Lifted so damn high, I can't come down, driving under the speed limit in my town. With the windows rolled down and the radio up, sweet tea full in my solo cup, listening to the humming of the 44, sounding like a concert. I'm a beat up door, arm hanging out the window, smiling away, smoking on some ground where the cattle graze. Charlie Daniels said you shouldn't go smoke that dope. Hell, I can't help, I love rolling stone. Yeah, I love.
Let me turn that off. Yep, I do love Rolling Stone. It's a gorgeous day. Get that coffee. Start the day in a positive way. Yep. It's getting light out. Yeah, it's only 6:30 here, but hope you guys are doing good. Hope everybody's doing well this morning. Same old over here, going back out to sell more strawberries. Yesterday was a little slower than I thought it would be. Still made some money. Still made a couple $100, but I was hoping to do better. Yes, one of my favorite songs, Rolling Stone. That guy does all kinds of music, rock, rap, all kinds of country. Not for everybody, though. You know, I came across, I don't know if you heard yesterday, Tommy, we were talking about, is it Al Martino? One of Gianni's wedding songs. Pretty good. I'm sure you've probably already done a spotlight on him, but if you haven't, he'd be a good one to do. Donna, good morning. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. What do we got going on today? What is today? Today is the 6th, 3/6/26. Daylight savings times in 2 days. Spring's around the corner. Well, we still got 2 weeks. 2 weeks till spring. The girls are still on the cruise. They come back on Monday. I got an event on Sunday. Not a whole lot of much, just the same old. Al Martino, yes. Yep. Yeah. Matter of fact, let's play a little Al Martino real quick, shall we? Not the whole song, but we'll play a little bit. Yeah, to each his own. It doesn't get any more, I don't know what the word is, when they use animals to promote FedEx, American Express. Come on now.
A rose must remain with the sun and the rain, or its lovely promise won't come true. To each his own, to each his own, and my own is you. What good is a song if the words just don't belong? And the dream must be a dream for two. No good alone, to each his own. For me, there's you. If a flame is to grow.
I'm trying to think, like, there's so many different scenarios you could be listening to music like this. At dinner, at the end of the night, during a wedding, I mean, in the morning, anytime. I mean, this music pretty much fits in anywhere. Maybe not at a club, but other than that.
There must be a glow to open each door. There's a key. I need you, I know. I can't let you go. Your touch means too much to me. Two lips must insist on to more to be kissed, for they'll never know what love can do.
I dig it. Michael Mormile, what's going down, sir? Hello. Good to see you. Doing well. Hope you're doing well. How's things on the port? How's the old job going? I'm just same old. In the midst of a week-long dipping and selling strawberries, kind of the same old. Maybe mix it up with a little. I was going to make some cheesecakes yesterday, but I couldn't find everything that I needed to do to pull it off, so I abandoned ship. Yeah, let's see here. Let's get into it. Not bad. I work nights. Good to see you. Right on. Cool. Yep, good to see you too. Thanks for coming by. We're about to talk about who knows what. Iran, Erika Kirk, Candace Owens, Alex Jones, everything, Les, you in the chats here, and I see you in the chats here. Right on. Yeah, same. Yeah, we used to. I think I met you over at Slim's. I seen you on there. I think we've been on the panel together over at Slim's before, like a couple years ago. I think it's been I met Slim. Got to be at least a couple of years now. Might even have been late 2023. Wild. Time flies. I know Slim ain't doing too well right now. He's a little under the weather. Let's see here. Just got some random videos. Theo Vaughn and Dave Smith. And Dave Smith is talking about his interaction with Chris Cuomo and how amazing it is, the ability that these people that are, on TV, there's a reason why they're on TV. People like Chris Cuomo, they're so good at what they do. They're just amazingly good liars. Yep, prayers for Slim. Magooch, it's going down. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. So
I couldn't imagine sitting there regurgitating lies, like just how much it would make you crawl on the inside.
Yeah. No, it's an amazing ability. I mean, I've been close up with it. And it was one of the things when I debated Chris Cuomo, it was like one of the things that really was like, it was startling to see, because how comfortable he was just lying, like lying through his teeth, a demonstrable lot. Like I would say, like, there was one point in it, and the Patrick Bet David production staff, always be grateful to them, because man, they got my back that day, and they had the clip. They pulled it up real quick, but he went, look, I don't think the guys at CNN should have mocked Joe Rogan for taking ivermectin. And I went, you did. Yeah. You mocked Joe Rogan for taking ivermectin. And he goes, no, I didn't. I go, yes, you did. I've seen it. I've watched you do it. And then he goes, no, I didn't. And then they pull up a clip of him going, Joe Rogan, ivermectin, horse dewormer. And the entire room, because it was a live show, the entire room goes, oh. And then he goes, oh, no. I was saying like the veterinary version, not the regular version. You go, what version do you think Joe Rogan was taking? You think Joe Rogan went to the pet store? Like, yeah, he's got a few bucks. I don't know if you've heard. But
they're at a fucking Petco.
Yeah,
you think he drove and parked at a Petco and walked in there past the gerbil cages?
You're like, believe it or not, Joe Rogan can afford doctors.
That's the part where they're grooming the dogs right in the front when you walk in.
Hi, I'm world famous Joe Rogan. I was here to pick up some ivermectin. I have a prescription for my dog I'd like to fill.
Oh, you got worms, Joe, huh?
Sorry, I was on mute. And that's just small potatoes, we all know, compared to how those guys really operate, what they really lie about. Okay, what else we got? Gas prices. I thought about doing this the other day because I just seen these laying in my room. But I did it this morning when I seen this guy do it. It's like, fuck it.
How the fuck can we take America back when these cocksuckers don't even fucking support us? Fuck these motherfuckers.
Yeah. And, I don't blame him, because who in the hell would want to drive around with a damn Trump Advance 2024 sticker on their car now? That dude put us all in danger. Fuck that. I doubt anybody wants to have a Trump bumper sticker on their car right now. I was paying $289 at Quick Check. Now I paid $312 yesterday. Damn. Yeah, and over here we have the highest gas. We have like $1.46 tacked on to our price. So most of the pumps over here are like $4.60 now. We got it down to way under $3, and there's still a couple you can get to under $3, but not nowhere in town. Well over $4 a gallon. Just spiked right back up there. And it's probably going to get worse, way worse, for as far as the gas prices go. But I mean, this isn't even about what that guy is doing. It's not about he's doing it at the gas pump. And the title of the video even said something about gas. No, it just says biggest bait and switch in human history. Oh, here we go. Gas prices have increased, and the American people must suffer for Trump's war. This whole thing now, it's like, I mean, I went on Facebook and publicly supported that dude, and my business suffered from it big time. And we're talking 2024, and it still affects me. I ain't said shit since. And it still fucking bites me in the ass. But now, who in the hell would want to actively like, oh yeah, go Trump? Fuck that. I don't blame him for taking that bumper sticker off one bit. Not because, we're pissed at Trump or whatever. It's fucking dangerous. Literally, it's dangerous to have a Trump bumper sticker, in my opinion, on your vehicle, unless you're some badass and don't care. At the very least, you're looking at a high likelihood of your window getting broken or tire slashed or something. You know what I mean? Like, that's definitely fuck that. I don't know how else to put it. I don't recommend having Trump bumper stickers right now, for no other reason than your own safety. Carl Sagan, what was that show he did when he talked about the cosmic ocean? Damn, I used to watch it all the time. Anyway, this is his prediction from 31 years ago. I didn't even watch this video.
1995, and we quote, "I have a foreboding of an America in my children's or grandchildren's time when the United States is a service and information economy, when nearly all the manufacturing industries have slipped away to other countries, when awesome technological powers are in the hands of a very few, and no one representing the public interest can even grasp the issues, when the people have lost the ability to set their own agendas or knowledgeably question those in authority, when, clutching our crystals and nervously consulting our horoscopes, our critical faculties in decline, unable to distinguish between what feels good and what's true, we slide almost without noticing back into superstition and darkness. The dumbing down of America is most evident in the slow decay of substantive content in the enormously influential media. The 30-second sound bites now down to 10 seconds or less. Lowest common denominator programming, credulous presentations on pseudoscience and superstition, but especially a kind of celebration of ignorance."
That's a lot to take in there. We the people always getting the shaft. Yeah. One of the biggest issues right now is not being able to trust our eyes because of AI. Videos now, videos used to be the proof that you needed, no pictures, it didn't happen. No video, it didn't happen. Well, now that's not the case. And that's where I guess that quote can come into play, because you question your own sanity. Because we don't really know there's levels to it too, because I would say most people will just choose to just ignore it and say, there's better things to focus on. We don't have time for this. And I tend to agree with that for the most part, because the more you dive into it, the just more fucking crazy it gets. It's at a point now where, seriously, like they can say, like, for example, the one that sticks out to me is there's the story of the school children that were bombed, the girls' school in Iran. And they show us video of people standing around a school. It's just one example. And why? Then you could say, well, why would they lie about it? Blah, blah, blah. It's just a fact that they're using AI videos to manipulate our, the narrative. And I didn't watch the video, but I have a video of Alex Jones and Duncan Trussell talking about that very thing. And I'm going to skip to it real quick. Here it is.
My middle daughter's really smart. She's 18. And she said to me yesterday, we went shooting bows at one of my friend's houses. You're just in their backyard. And she said, Dad, are we really attacking Iran? Because I saw it on TikTok. I know there's a lot of AI.
Right.
And she's really smart about a lot of stuff. And I said, no, honey, it's true. But I said, but secondarily, we can't believe most of what we hear from Iran or the U.S.
Right.
So I said, the truth is, she goes, well, what's happening? I said, I don't know.
Oh, dude, that's scary. I was just talking to Josh about this. I can't imagine what your sources are. Mine are shitty. I got 4chan, X. I just look at like what's going, like the most recent posts, and 80% of the stuff on X is AI. So you're going to see they're firebombing Tel Aviv. It's not real. None of it's real. You go to the live stream of Tel Aviv, it's fine. But
U.S. ship sunk by missile. It's AI.
It's AI. So it's pure signal jamming right now. We have no idea what's going on. You can't, if you go to the
Well, the first rule of intelligence is whatever you first were told isn't true.
Right. So what do you think is going on over there? What's your analysis of this?
Well, you have to always go to original war doctrine. The Iranian war doctrine, Israel's war doctrine, the U.S. war doctrine, China's war doctrine, Russia's war doctrine, and the other parties involved like North Korea. And then out of that war doctrine, and my sources already previously had, we knew what the plan was. Decapitate, about these allergies in Austin.
Yeah, I know.
How about sick folks? It just causes pollen.
Yeah, right, Alex. That's why you started talking like a gay frog right when you got back from Washington, D.C. And I'm not even making that up. That he didn't always talk like that. He started talking like that when he came back from Washington, D.C., when he started attacking Candace Owens, just out of nowhere. It was like he was standing on a fence, and he could go where he should go, which is with Candace Owens, which is the reality side with, facts and evidence and reality and just the truth, versus the other side, which is all fucking lies and bullshit. And he went to Washington, D.C., and for the most part chose the lies and the bullshit. And for some reason, he started talking like a gay frog. I don't know if that has anything to do with his allergies or not, but we've all been sick in the last, a lot of us have, even myself included. I never get sick. But as far as I know, I didn't start talking like a gay frog.
I'm sorry.
Fine.
It's driving me crazy.
Got some water.
I'm all right. I got some coffee and water too. First, they need to decapitate the Iranian leadership, then destroy their air defenses, and then destroy their main military and their navy. So that's pretty much happening. But Trump said 9 months ago in June, this is about taking out their nuclear sites. That wasn't true. That was just getting us used to this.
Right.
And so now it is about basically sleepwalking us into a full war. Now today, Trump said he may support boots on the ground. And so overall, I've been supportive of Trump because he was disruptive of the globalists. They didn't want him at first.
Yeah.
But more and more, it looks like he's pretty much starting to join them. And so just like NATO and the EU sleptwalked us into war with.
It's hard to even follow what he's saying right now. My mind just kind of just goes. Magooch says he's going to Mar-a-Lago in the morning. He's going to talk to Trump about lowering the gas price down to $2. Hell yeah. Can you ask him to return my phone calls? I finished the cigars he sent me. I like it in their box. Patty, good morning. Good to see you. I really think something happened to Alex. I really do. I mean, he is sitting there. You know what it reminds me of? You know, he's sitting there trying to tell us a story. Let's just go back to the beginning a little bit.
Oh, dude, that's scary. I was just talking to Josh about this.
It's weird. He's talking, and it's almost like he gets told to shut up. He looks off camera, and then all of a sudden, he goes into that fucking coughing fit.
So I said, the truth is, she goes, well, what's happening? I said, I don't know.
Oh, dude, that's scary. I was just talking to Josh about this.
He just looked off camera.
I can't imagine what your sources are. Mine are shitty. I got 4chan, X. I just look at like what's going, like the most recent posts, and 80% of the stuff on X is AI. So you're going to see they're firebombing Tel Aviv. It's not real. None of it's real. You go to the live stream of Tel Aviv, it's fine. But
U.S. ship sunk by missile. It's AI.
It's AI. So it's pure signal jamming right now. We have no idea what's going on. You can't, if you go to the.
Well, the first rule of intelligence is whatever you first were told isn't true.
Right. So what do you think is going on over there? What's your analysis of this?
Well, you have to always go to original war doctrine. The Iranian war doctrine, Israel's war doctrine, the U.S. war doctrine, China's war doctrine, Russia's war doctrine, and the other parties involved like North Korea. And then out of that war doctrine, and my sources already previously had, we knew what the plan was. Decapitate.
So he's talking about the war doctrines. See, Alex, there's one thing about Alex Jones is he knows what he's talking about. He's the guy, he's the guy, man. You would not believe what he has in his fucking brain. Like the shit. And he knows, us normal people don't know where to look. Normal people don't look at war doctrines. He does. His family background is intelligence and all kinds of shit. So he was schooled on how to do this kind of stuff. But it's just really interesting to me that what he's talking about, and then all of a sudden he goes into that coughing fit. I'm not saying that has anything to do with anything, but I think it kind of does. And it, what it reminds me of is RFK Jr. It reminds me of RFK Jr., and everything that happened with his family and the assassinations and everything. And then when you hear RFK try to talk to us, it's hard to follow and listen just because of the condition that he has. It's really effective if you're, using that as a weapon to silence somebody. It's very effective because it's hard to listen to RFK talk, even if you're a fan of his, and I am, I was falling asleep when he spoke, said Donna, that's hilarious. So you think Alex Jones was threatened? Yes. Well, he was. I mean, he's publicly admitted that, he's been on trial because of the Sandy Hook thing. So they've already tried to sue him for an absorbent amount of money. I don't know exactly what the numbers are, but he'll tell you $1 billion. I don't know what the real numbers are. So he's been threatened in that way. But it's just weird because they literally, I don't know if you go back and figure out exactly what day it was, but it was when he went to Washington, D.C. and he called an emergency meeting, and he never goes there. He gets invited to go to events, to go see Trump or whatever. He doesn't like to go. He likes to just stay at a studio. He don't like to fucking go on planes and because he's not stupid. One of his reporters, Jamie White, was killed not too long ago, like maybe a year ago in Austin. And they thought that, for a minute that maybe that had something to do with him kind of being threatened. But it came out that it was just like some illegal immigrant criminal, which I still don't know whether to buy that or not. But you hear all this stuff and it's like, okay, yeah, whatever. But then when you hear his voice, he goes to Washington, D.C., and then all of a sudden he goes from talking normal to the way he talks now with this kind of voice, He started talking like this, like right when he got back from D.C. It just immediately changed. It might even have changed from a video that he posted while he was in D.C. And and I know the reason for the trip was, I believe, to advise Trump on some things. Because he always has on General Flynn and Roger Stone, which those guys are advisors to Trump. They're in Washington, D.C. all the time. You can see them on video talking to Trump. And they're frequent flyers on InfoWars. I don't know. Something happened. But it's just very interesting that, he's talking about this. And if it's true, then they just have the ability to, shut you the fuck up. Because even, you could be threatened, I guess. But still, maybe, somebody like Alec, he just can't help himself sometimes, just starts running his mouth maybe. So they had to intervene. I'm not saying that's what happened. We're going to move on. It's just really fucking wild to me. A lot of coincidences there. I skipped a video. This chick, I didn't watch the video. I thought it was kind of interesting. Palantir and what's his name? Peter Thiel. She's saying they don't need Jeffrey Epstein for blackmail anymore because they have Palantir.
To bring it back to a question you asked earlier on about, Israel and blackmail, they don't really need blackmail anymore. And I argue at the end of my book that Palantir, Peter Thiel's company, really makes it so that, that's the new Jeffrey Epstein at the end of the day. If they want to blackmail you or know something about you, they just access what Palantir sucked up about you and your search history, your communications, your finances, tweets you've liked in the past, all sorts of things. You don't really need Epstein in the surveillance era,
Do you think when they said tweets are private, it was just an inducement to get us all to like what we really want to like so they can hold it against us later?
It's possible if they want to hold it against you later. The disturbing thing about Palantir is that it's really about pre-crime. They were the pioneers of predictive policing. They were originally, almost everywhere they piloted predictive policing had been low-income minority neighborhoods, where they decide who's going to commit a crime before they commit it. And that's essentially we'll see. Administrative detention, maybe, if we go the Israeli path. But Trump actually in his first term posited this program to stop mass shootings before they happen. That would basically involve going over American social media posts and identifying if they had early warning signs of neuropsychiatric illness based on their, tweets or Facebook posts. And if they were determined by the algorithm to show those warning signs, they could be placed under house arrest or go to sessions with a court-ordered psychologist and all sorts of things.
Well, some of my extended relatives better be careful because they got some wild Facebook posts. I had to leave the app.
So do a lot of Americans. And it's worth pointing out that a lot of social media companies like Facebook have a lot of ties to Peter Thiel at the same time he was setting up Palantir. And that Facebook has a lot of similarities to a failed DARPA project called LifeLog that arguably Facebook was resurrected into, because Palantir is the resurrection of another DARPA program called Total Information Awareness.
Yeah, and the thing is that, we kind of spoke about this a little bit yesterday. Hold on, sorry. Everything she's saying is true, but it even goes further than that, because I would say 99% of us don't have anything to worry about when it comes to being blackmailed about your search history or what you talk about online or what you like. You know what I mean? At the very least, maybe there'd be some people that'd be worried about getting caught up in some relationship issues, maybe some shisty business deals, maybe a little bit of tax fraud, things like that. I could see that. But when we were talking about yesterday is the brother of the Las Vegas shooter, and then George Zinn, who's the guy whose pants fell down when Charlie Kirk was assassinated. And then he stands up and says, I did it. He was also at the Boston Marathon bombing, and he was at the 9/11 scene when the Twin Towers went down. Both those guys, the Las Vegas shooter and George Zinn, well, the Las Vegas shooter's brother, they had child porn on their computers, and they're in jail. So George Zinn, we can't talk to him about how the hell are you at the 9/11 Boston Marathon bombing and at the assassination of Charlie Kirk. How is that humanly possible? It's not unless you're like an operative for the government or something's going on there. You're something. You're part of some hit squad or something. But we can't talk to him because he's in jail for child porn. Same with the Vegas shooter. He's dead. The guy in the Mandalay Bay window, he's dead. But we could talk to his brother, but we can't because his brother is a creepo with child porn on his computer. Are we to really believe that? We're, put all of that together really quick. Those are all verifiable facts that you can look up. Like, that's true. All of that is true. But it's not true. It's true, but it's not true, in my opinion. There's no fucking way. They put that on their computers. Now, we know there's a lot of sickos out there, and anybody that does look at that, in my opinion, should just immediately be executed. But I don't believe that those two guys have child porn on their computer. I believe that it was put on their computer by the government to shut them up. So they can't tell us what they know. Because what they know, if they told us what they know, we would find out the government's bullshit. And if you've been listening to Candace Owens, like, it's crazy. We're finding out now that when it comes to these mass shootings, this whole group of people, Erika Kirk and Hunter Kozak, who was the last person to talk to Charlie Kirk, he asked him the question, and Charlie Kirk picks up the microphone and boom, he's dead. That guy. These guys have been around mass shootings. It's, according to them, it's normal for you and all your friends to have been around a mass shooting. Oh yeah, my best friend Tom was at a mass shooting in Colorado. Oh yeah, my cousin Joel was at a mass shooting down in Denver. What, you guys don't know your family? All you guys weren't around mass shootings? I mean, what the fuck? It gets more and more fucking crazy. Sorry, I'm missing out on the chat here. So the government is absolutely 100% lying to us. They've been fucking lying to us, and we all know that. I mean, it just is what it is. You just got to choose to. It's a war. It's a war on your mind, basically. I mean, that's what Alex Jones Infowars has said for 30 years. It's a war. It's a war on your mind. I need to find. Hold on, real quick. I'm gonna listen to this guy real quick. No, never mind. Abandon that. We'll just keep going. Let's see here. What else we got? Lindsey Graham says that the Congress does not need to declare war. Just let Trump do what he's doing.
Or why not vote to declare? If we're in a war, why not vote to declare war?
Because you don't have to do that. We've only declared war 5 times in the history of the country. There's no need to declare war here. We're going to let this president do what every other president's done. Had 130 military operations since the War Powers Act without congressional approval. This idea that somehow Trump is the bad guy needs to stop. You have all the authority in the world to do these operations.
But why? Oh, why? Oh, why are we doing this? I came across a couple of videos I found kind of interesting. So let me see here. I'll go back up. This is the guy who was, I don't know, what's his name? Paul Hyman, WWE handler for like Brock Lesnar, Jewish dude, really, really creepy. He said something fucking, aha.
Hang out with us. I'm a Jew, and my people, we're not hunters, we're furriers. You know, I mean, you see, the whole crew's laughing now about that, especially the guy over there who's Jewish, because he knows. Because, you know, it's like, I can't kill the thing, but I can make you a nice lapel out of it. Pleasure to get the diamonds as well. How y'all in? As
What happened?
you would say, diamonds, furs, a movie business. What's the deal here? It's a monopoly. What? What? My people. My people. Yeah. We own everything. I know. How is that? Well, because we're the smart people. We're the Jews. You know, I mean, we screwed up in the Middle East. You know, I mean, we did. I mean, I can speak about this because I mean, we're supposed to be the chosen people, and here we, you know, and here we pick the only piece of land in the Middle East that has no oil on it. Everything we have is sand and the Mediterranean Sea, which for generations people have been trying to push us out into. You know, every Jewish holiday is the same thing. They tried to kill us and we're still alive. So, I mean, you know, I got on it. Everything we have is sand and the chosen people. And here we, you know, and here we pick the only piece of land in the Middle East that has no oil on it.
Mm-hmm. The only piece of land that has no oil on it. Interesting. Okay, let me go back up. This is Benjamin Netanyahu talking in 1986, wanting war with Iran. 96, 06, 16, 26, 4 decades later.
Get these regimes, Libya, Iran, think of Gaddafi or Khomeini being accustomed to the idea that they can do anything they want, send their killers anywhere, strike at anyone, anytime. Then you may very well find yourself in a world in a few years from now with a Gaddafi or Khomeini with nuclear weapons. Mm-hmm. The stakes here are enormous. Get these regimes.
So to me, it just seems a little bit more clear that, you know, and based on what that Paul Hyman guy said, he just put it in perspective for me and just, you know, in idiot terms for somebody like me to understand. Israel doesn't have a piece of land. They don't have oil. They want Iran's oil. So we're going to send our own Americans over there to die for Israel to get oil. Because he's been saying that they've had nuclear weapons before they said Iraq had weapons of mass destruction. It's all bullshit. So is their technology for their weapons, too, is fucking bullshit. We're learning that now. They can't stop nothing. Now Trump is saying that we here in the United States will take in all the refugees from Iran, not Israel. Why would Israel do it? It's not their war.
And I'm once again calling on all members of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, the military and the police to lay down their arms. They're only going to be killed.
So we're going to get the Iranian military refugees in the United States.
And now is the time to stand up for the Iranian people and help take back your country. You're going to have a chance after all these years to take back your country. Accept immunity. We'll give you immunity. And we'll be giving you really the right side of history, because that's what it is. So you'll be perfectly safe with total immunity, or you'll face absolutely guaranteed death. And I don't want to see that. They don't want to see it either. We also urge Iranian diplomats around the world to request asylum and to help us shape a new and better.
Yeah. I don't know, guys. Not a fan of this whole thing. It's about the oil. I think so, Patty. I think it is about the oil. We know what's happening, confirmed by my son. Yeah, I'd be interested to know what's going on with your son, if you don't mind sharing, Donna. Where's he at, and if he's shared anything with you. He used to show paperwork on most of the stuff he talks about. Were we talking? Oh, we're talking about Alex Jones. Yes. I still don't know why we had to bomb Iran. Did they put out a new threat or something direct? Yeah, it's a good question, Patty. Right? I tried to talk to him this morning, but he's in class. Okay. I don't know, guys. We'll just keep moving. I'll go back to that one. This one is an American family in Dubai, and just kind of their perspective.
Brett really has everything under control. They're really looking out for the people, but we just want to be home with Nana and Papa. We have our 2 kids, so we just felt a bit like we needed to be home during this time. And the U.S. told us to evacuate. Everything they're reporting, life's really, really normal. Of course, you do hear what's going on in the background, but we have a lot of friends still there. They all feel really safe, regardless of what's going on. But show him your shirt. It's the UAE military, so we're very thankful because we felt very safe and protected by them. We really love Dubai. We really feel like they do such an incredible job protecting their citizens. And I was actually at the pool with my son and our friends. We were just at the pool. We didn't hear it because we live a bit far in the desert, so we didn't hear it. The government notified us right away. The UAE government notified us. They said to remain calm, so we did. We then did hear something in the distance, but once again, we immediately got notified by the UAE government. They said, just remain calm, go inside. And then from then, we really, it was 2 or 3 days, we were just getting notifications like that. We were very calm. We just stayed inside. They kept updating us. We didn't hear much or see anything because we were a bit out of the city. But everything that happened, we were getting updated. The only time I really panicked was then when the U.S. government messaged us to evacuate. Then I realized, maybe we need to leave. So that was the only time I started to feel a bit panicked. But other than that, everything that kept happening, the UAE government really just kept updating us properly and made us feel safe and secure. And you could go out on the street and really feel like everything was fine. Normal. Yeah, everything's up and running. I was ordering coffees. Delivery drivers were coming and delivering as per usual, normal work. Yeah, we weren't working because we work at they were telling us we don't have to come into the office, so we were just staying at home, but people were working like normal. So
I live 20 miles from MacDill Air Force Base, and the jets have been in the air a lot more. The fighter jets, wow. They are so fast. Most of the time you just hear them and they are gone. But if I happen to be looking up, I can see them. Wow. Yeah, I mean, do you think that they're going to declare war? More than likely, right? I mean, I think they're going to. They're just stalling out right now. They're going to have to. They're going to have to. They're just waiting for, it's just fucked up. I think they're just waiting, they're poking at those guys until they do something. retaliatory enough to where they can declare war and make it on them. And those guys are probably just licking their lips, ready to go in there and just steal all that oil and just take it over. I mean, obviously they are, because they're killing everybody from the top down until they can buy off the rest of them. Dirty, dirty, dirty. I just thought this was really interesting. We'll listen to this real quick. If you guys know who the Tiny Hats are.
So this is the book written in 1921 by Henry Ford. You can look into this. It is a deep dive. So check this. In 1492, when Christopher Columbus was expelled from Spain, he brought over 300,000 tiny hats. And then we find out New York is the center of the tiny hats. Oh, it gets deeper. When George Washington was here, 4,000 tiny hats. They were all the traders. They controlled all the trade. In 50 years, the tiny hat population increased to 3.3 million. They own the grains, the cotton, the oil, the steel, the magazines, the theaters, the liquors, the loan businesses, and every industry. The American businesses, that's what they were disguised as. The philosophy of the tiny hats is not to make money, but to get money. Take your money. And someone goes, well, I didn't learn any of this in school. Yeah, because guess who owns the schools? The communist Bolsheviks. And they refer to the people who are not the tiny hats as Gentiles, and we will wear them out and take over their government. The fifth protocol. Now, but that whole thing with Palestine? Yeah, that's because the Palestinians don't have a tiny hat bank. And then what about all the presidents who are out kissing the wall? Yep. Henry Ford knew, 1921. They were owned by the tiny hats. And then who creates all the division with the people? Tiny hats with the media. Then you get into the attacks on Christianity and taking all of the things related to religion out of schools. Then you get into all the vices that people have. Guess who brought all that in? So when you question the narrative, they label you as an anti-tiny hat. And we'll hit on one last one. Where do you think all the slaves came from? See right here? Tiny hats. And then they changed their names so that people didn't know. Isn't it wild when you start to dig into history? Then you get into the ADL, which is protecting all of this. Anybody who goes against it, they arrest, just like that veteran.
Just like the veteran that he's talking about yesterday that had, or 2 days ago, that had his hand broke.
No one wants to fight for Israel.
That guy. Brian Cavase, good morning, sir. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. You don't have a wrench? Let me give you a wrench. There you are. Yeah, I can't wait to get into the part about the gambling and their vices in that, or their control over gambling. Candace Owens is going to get into online gambling and the connection to the military. And it's crazy because all these theories that, I'm always the guy that says, oh, the government controls sports, the government controls gambling and all that kind of stuff. And this is like, it's fucking true. I always knew it was true. But I never thought in a million years that I would get to see like names and faces of people that are part of the fuckery. Like their whole shit's coming down. I mean, they're still going to be able to get over on society for sure. All they have to do is pivot and switch gears and put on a couple different disguises and it's all good. Yeah, he broke the guy's arm. And I said yesterday, I thought it was just kind of kabuki theater, because he gets his arm caught in the doorway. And then one guy's like, okay, get those cameras out of here. And, it just doesn't make no sense. I mean, have you ever heard of anybody sticking their hand in between a door, like when the door's open like that and you get your arm broke? I mean, we've all had the, have it pinch us really bad, smash your finger, smash your hand, whatever. You know, I could see that. My poor granddaughter happened at in the leasing office where my daughter works the other day. She stuck her hand in there, and luckily I didn't. You know, and I was the one that was trying to put some garbage in there. Luckily I didn't shut it too hard, but it still hurt her really bad. You know, but it didn't break anything. I don't know. Yeah, I think we're all just kind of learning that, you know, what he says about the school system owned by the Bolsheviks. And, you know, you can go down that rabbit hole. Bolsheviks basically, I think, means like majority party in Russia, at least at one time. And it's true, you know, it's like the whole school system here is just, it's separate from what, you know, the elite, where they send their kids. Their kids aren't educated, you know, under that same system. There's just no way. I mean, because we don't learn about business and stuff like that, you know. They teach us about what? Biology, how to dissect a frog, dinosaurs, stupid shit that you have no, you don't, you know, who the fuck needs to, how to dissect a frog for what? You know what I mean? Maybe they don't do that anymore. See, these are some of the videos, like, do we believe them? Do we not believe them? I try not to play any of these. There's a million of them online, and 99% of them I don't even play because we don't know whether they're real or not. So it's neither here nor there on that. Oh wait, that was not even. Sorry guys. Yeah, that was it. Okay. Megyn Kelly was saying, and this has been going around the internet for a long time, but you know, and this is one of the reasons why she's been getting attacked lately. I don't trust Megyn Kelly because of the Charlie Kirk case, but she is right about this.
Heavily by the pro-Israel crowd and the Israel First crowd, and then the bots. There are many, many bots on X that, you know, are part of an operation. And then there are many, many live humans on X who actually get $7,000 a tweet. People have come out and admitted it from the Israelis to troll anybody who deviates from the party line. And so, like, I want the audience to understand that this is happening, and it's an effort by a foreign country to silence the views of American about American foreign policy.
You know, and it's just, it's maddening, but hopefully what evolves out of this, and it, you know, it just, like for me, for example, and I appreciate every one of the people that listen to my show. And the thing is, it's like if you get too big, you know, because I have 9 people listening, like let's say that I had 9,000 people listening, more than likely I would have like sponsorship and stuff like that, right? Then you can't say what you want to say. It just automatically changes. Like the second that you take money from somebody, that's why I always say be careful who you get your money from, because it changes things. And then if you make an agreement and then you pivot, you know, who knows what can happen? You can get sued. You can get fired. You can lose viewerships. You could get assassinated. So you have to be careful who you get your money from. But, you know, this is just, it's crazy that, you know, it's hard to even wrap your brain around. If we go with the premise that this is all happening because those guys want Iran's oil, look at the lengths that they're willing to go. They've killed Charlie Kirk because they didn't want him talking during this time. You know, this would have been the time. Nobody really gave a shit about Charlie Kirk. I'm just being honest. When he died, I didn't listen to him. I've seen his videos on X, just like I'll see like Nick Fuentes or Andrew Tate or whoever. I mean, just maybe watch for 3 seconds, scroll on. It didn't mean nothing to me at all. Zero, zip, zilch. did what Charlie Kirk thought mean anything to me. I didn't care. I didn't even like, why would I care? And I think that's across the board for the majority of people, unless you were some part of the Turning Point USA movement, or I don't know how to say it. Maybe you were in college and he came to your college. I don't know. But I believe that the reason why they killed him is because of this time now, because he would have been very important and been able to cut through a lot of this, and which is why they wanted him on board with them. And they were just like, that'd be like trying to get me on board. Like, okay, yeah, and then I just have, I'm like, fuck this. I can't do it. I'm not gonna let you guys kill people. They're like, well, you agreed to it. Well, and then that's what happened. As soon as you take the money, you lose control. Yep. Exactly. And with, I mean, we could just go on and on about this, like the way that Erika Kirk lies about how she gets her money. Like, what does Turning Point USA even do? They're supposed to be this $1 billion company. How did they even generate their income? Supposedly they're, selling merch, but other than that, and sponsors. But for what? Like, what is the business? You know what I mean? It doesn't, because it ain't from the podcast, and nobody watches their podcast. It's all very interesting. We'll move on. I tend to believe this is real. I've heard this from multiple places. I don't know if the video is real, but that Iran is using like a cluster bomb type of weapon. I'll spare us the sirens. So I'll tell you what, and I think I can speak for everybody. I know I wouldn't want to look up and see that above my house. I know I wouldn't want to see that above my fucking neighborhood. I wouldn't want to see that landing 2 cities away from me. I wouldn't want to hear about that happening in fucking Florida, which is the farthest state away from me. I mean, fuck that shit. But that's what's going on. Let's see here. This just says that U.S. officials now say that Russia is giving Iran intelligence on the locations of American warships and aircraft, including positions of ships, planes, and radar. I don't know if that's true or not. It says Trump is now allowing India to import oil from Russia for 30 days because he screwed up so badly that oil prices are through the roof. So, I don't know if any of that's true or not. Dubai basically is fucked.
They paralyzed the port of Jebel Ali, which is one of the largest cargo ports on the planet, and they paralyzed Dubai airport. So Dubai as a business model is dead and is not going to recover. And they attacked CIA cells in Dubai. Everybody knows there are CIA cells in Dubai. I saw them by myself years ago during the Taliban era. Everybody knows that. Dubai is not a country to start with, or a part of an emirate. Dubai is an enormous special free zone, tax-free, offering immense money laundering opportunities, and until today, safety and security. This has totally collapsed. So, that's another story. And why they focused on Dubai specifically, because it's one of the key nodes of US intel in the whole of West Asia.
So that's, I don't know how much of that we can never believe it. We don't know. Gianni, good morning. Good to see you, sir. And Charlie Kirk was very smart, Brian. I mean, very well read. You know, it's one thing to be book smart and know history through books, and then you talk to somebody that's actually lived through like a war or something, and then you just realize that the person who's book smart doesn't really know anything. You know, when it comes to, they know a little bit about everything, but nothing about nothing about one specific thing when it comes down to it, if that makes any sense. But yeah, no, he was smart. A lot of money in Dubai. I don't know how to say that word. Scaroli. Tommy's going to be shaking his head. Yeah, definitely. Save the Dubai chocolate factory. It's about the Dubai chocolate. I didn't even think about that. Damn. Well, I sold the Dubai bar yesterday, and I'm almost out. You know what? Matter of fact, they better not have messed with my the price of my pistachio, because I'm out. I need to order more. Let me see how much it is real quick. Come on. Oh my gosh. Yeah, they definitely went up. It's weird though. It's like it doesn't make any sense to buy it. I'll show you guys. It makes no sense, their fucking price points, man. It's more expensive to buy the big thing. How is that possible? It went down, and maybe it's a special or something. It's basically $100 for a 7-pound can, which is what I bought the last few times. When it was popular, I was buying this one for $4.80, 35-pound, 5-gallon bucket. I bought 3 of those for $400. I think $4.88 was the last one. Now it's $5.39. But see, it's $14.07 a pound for a 7-pound can. But if you try to get the big one, it's $15.43 a pound. That doesn't even make any sense. What the fuck is their problem? It's the same shit, same company, same exact product. So why would you just not buy 7 of these guys or 5 of these guys? And I can get free shipping. I don't know. Stupid. Anyway, I got to order more of that. Hold on. Let me get this back up and I'll read the chat. You caught the angle. Yep, you already know. A bar of Dubai is almost same cost as a barrel of oil. Yeah, that's true, Michael Mormile, right? You think about it. Damn. Well, not anymore. Now, maybe when oil or gas is regular, now it's going to skyrocket. It is interesting, though. Will Dubai suffer? I sold one yesterday. And I've only got like maybe 10 bars left. I'm gonna have to order more stuff. I've been asking people if they want the strawberry cups, and they said yes. So I made a good score with the Dubai chocolate after Christmas. The supermarket mistakenly put the Dubai chocolate on 75% off Christmas candy. Oh dang! They were $17 a bar. I bought the whole box. Nice. Heck yeah, you can't beat that. You can't beat that. I always get nervous when people buy my bars because they're $20 each, but you know, I've only had, and she was just a weird, crazy person. Only had one person complain, and I've made, shit. Who knows how many bars I've made? Hundreds of those things. I mean, 3 5-gallon buckets is 105 pounds of pistachio paste, and I probably went through 15 of those 7-pound cans. So, and I think one 7-pound can, I can do 45 bars. So, it's a lot. Yeah, I mean they were 17 a piece at 70% off. That's what. Yeah, that's hella good. Yeah, even a little bit cheaper than that almost, I think. All right, what else do we got here? Pete Hegseth being questioned about the girls' school in Iran that got blown up.
Tie right there. You got a tie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Come back to the BBC. Can you give us an update on what the administration knows, what you know now about the reported strike on a girls' school in southern Iran on Saturday?
All I can say is that we're investigating that. We, of course, never target civilian targets, but we're taking a look and investigating that. Red tie in front.
Just on the basis that with the information you would have, your reconnaissance abilities, ability to gather information, I mean, it's several days on now. So is there any clarity on whose munition this was?
We're investigating it. Thank you.
But allegedly that it was, this says that, it killed 165 scroll girls. It was on the Pentagon strike zone map shown by Hegseth. So I hope that's not true. Magooch has had some rebar delivered. Man, rebar is not fun to work with. I remember, because I was in sidewalk, curb and gutter when, even before I graduated high school, my uncle owned a concrete company. And I worked for him. Actually, I had already graduated high school. It was in between. It was that summer that I graduated high school. And they would have me doing things like cutting rebar with those saws. God, I hated that. I hated the smell of it. The damn sparks flying everywhere. Burn the shit out of yourself if you accidentally touch it. Hurt your back moving it. Even untying the fucking little metal unties and shit. You can keep that rebar. But I know they need it. You just got to have the right tools. Yep. For sure. I was only, 17 at the time. I didn't turn 18 until August when I graduated high school. So just a little shit. But he was paying me good money. God, I hated it though. Hated that job. Pretty interesting video here.
Martin Scorsese used to be the high priest of the LA group, but 6 years ago he was replaced by Jim Carrey. And, I was just so shocked when I heard that Jim Carrey was involved with the whole thing. I guess the real Jim Carrey was in Living Color, and somewhere after leaving Living Color, joined the Satanism sect of Hollywood, got demons to help him become a better actor and more funny. And so now when you see him acting out his comedian roles, you're seeing the demons that he has work through him. Jim Carrey's daughter was is joining American Idol show. I didn't even know he had a daughter. And she wasn't that fantastic of a singer, I guess. But you know what? When the whole season starts with American Idol, like they're going to say no. Okay, everybody knows who Jim Carrey is. He's the high priest of LA. His daughter wants on American Idol. She's getting on American Idol. I would have died laughing if one of them had said no. That would have shown kahunas. So wasn't shocked to find out the number 2 guy behind Jim Carrey in Hollywood is Robert Shapiro, O.J. Simpson, one of his top attorneys. He's the number 2 guy in Hollywood. And also that Al Gore spent a lot of time with the satanic groups in Hollywood because he wants attention. He wants media attention. Whenever he comes out with something stupid like global warming or something totally false and made up and imaginable, he'll get all the media attention he wants for it because he rubs shoulders and eats poop with all these people in Hollywood. Because I asked, what group does he go to? Chicago or?
I'm not sure who's talking. I'm not muted, am I? And it's a 7-minute video. We won't watch the whole thing. It's pretty interesting though about Satanism and all the different people that she names throughout the country in different areas who allegedly were the high priests, and the whole hierarchy behind it. It makes a lot of sense, when you look at the Epstein list and who's involved in that type of stuff. Ellen DeGeneres obviously, is a fucking weirdo. I mean, she's got the Jeffrey Epstein background. Diddy's on her show many, many times. I mean, come on. These people. Now, whether all that's true or not, was Martin Scorsese a high priest? Who's to say? You know what I mean? But I think we could probably all agree, like, who made the Gianni. It just sums it up. Hollywood is a cesspool. I think we could just chalk it up at that. You know what I mean? Who's to say, like, the facts behind the case? It's fucking gross. It's a cesspool. And what do they say about a cesspool? When you walk into a cesspool, the only person that's going to get infected is you. Right? No one's going to change anything. If you walk into a cesspool with the best intentions, you will get infected. That's just how it works. I mean, you can get out, but you're going to be affected. And it'll take a while for the infection to go away. It's really fucking crazy. We are building a big pond inside Avery. Contractors are doing all the work. Yeah, Mike, I don't know if you follow Magooch's nephew, Paul, but they have he has a YouTube channel, and I can never remember how to say his name, Magooch, but it's the PC Zoo down in Florida. And they have, he's got, the Avery with the birds and sea otters and aquariums like you wouldn't believe. It's badass if you've never checked it out. In Avery, I didn't know what an Avery was either, Michael, so don't feel bad. It's just where the birds are. It's like a big outdoor bird cage, I think, right, Magooch? There's the link right there. Thank you, Gianni. Yeah, it's cool. I don't watch all the videos, but I'm subscribed, so I do click on. I've seen him. He does a lot. That dude is badass. Yeah, he does. Yeah, it would. It's pretty inspiring. A lot of people, look at that. It's like, man, I would love to have, something like that. But at the end of the day, in my opinion, very few people, good luck putting that many animals in your back. That's going to do a disaster. You're going to get wildlife enforcement out there arresting us, But he does it awesome. It's pretty cool. Well, I watched one the other day where I don't know if Paul was at the other dude's place or the other dude was at Paul's place, but they were talking about the other dude's place because the other dude was like another bird expert and had an Avery. So my daughter has a stuffed Lola otter and Codamundi. She carries around with her literally everywhere. It's just that is cool. Yeah, those otters are awesome. Lola is wonderful. Oh, Lola is the otter. That went over my head the first time. Sorry. Did I miss any? Definitely explains why people like Kevin Hart are famous and Kanye. Yep. Now Kanye is hard to, because he speaks out against it. He actually had talent, and did he get sucked into it? And I'm like, it's hard to say. But it's cool now, like, and Magucha's nephew is a perfect example of, like, now with YouTube, it changes everything. You don't have to sign a deal with the devil to become a famous musician. Ryan Upchurch, one of my favorite singers now, I listened to a song at the beginning of the show. He's an independent artist. You don't need a record. If you got talent, you don't need anybody. You choose who you want to bring on board, what sponsors you want, what works for you, what aligns with your ideology. So you don't have to pretend. You know what I mean? And so, like, with Paul, like, he doesn't need Discovery Channel or ABC or any of those guys to be successful. He's got millions of followers and makes a shit ton of money and does exactly what he wants to do, and he doesn't have to sign any deals with the devil. Before, you used to have to do that. Can you imagine, like, all of the BS that you had to put up with, and then all the things you could not do if you had to go through, like, a network in order to produce a show like that? You know what I mean? Like, it's bad enough to have to deal with, like, just basic like YouTube guidelines. When here's the rules set in front of you, just make sure you abide by them. Okay, fine. And then let's just do our thing. But take that where every step of the way you have somebody saying, nah, no, let's talk, we'll meet about it, we'll let you know. Fuck that, man. Fuck that. Talent trumps all. That's true about Kanye. He speaks his mind and pays for it. I think he's a victim of he definitely is a victim of the Kardashians. This is 2026, not Nat Geo Who. Exactly. I haven't watched any of those shows in a long time. I haven't had television forever, but even before I quit watching television, I'd still, like, have Netflix. Like, I haven't had Netflix the only time I had Netflix is when I had to get Cobra Kai. But other than that, but maybe like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I'd watch, like, maybe Deadliest Catch and a couple other shows on Duck Dynasty, but that's about it. It's all YouTube now. Wait until you see the place Blake is building, about an hour and a half west. Giraffe, elephants. Damn. You guys are going straight legit down there. Like, that's a whole thing. Wouldn't it be wonderful if you could see up a meet and greet for Lola and your daughter? Oh, that would be awesome. They probably will do that one day, I bet. I know, I don't know who's all going. I don't want to out anybody if it's not public, but I think it is. Like, who's all meeting Tommy and all those guys? I don't know who's all going, but I think that you guys are going. Some of you guys are going up there, aren't you? Blake started with Paul, literally started with nothing, and they helped each other. That's awesome. It's the best when you start with nothing, And I think the ride is the funnest part. I'm trying to kick myself in the butt a little bit more, and but I'm not gonna lie, it's just fun. The ride is just fun, being able to run a business and not have a boss and just do what I want. Although I do need to start making a little bit more money. So taking advantage of this week, not babysitting and selling every day. So, which it is paying off, even though I didn't make a bunch yesterday, but it's helping. But I need to scale up a little bit. I'm thinking like maybe delivery, or I don't know. I'll figure it out. You're going to be there in April? Nice. We got to get down there. Yeah, I know. I want to get over there too. I told Tommy and those guys, like, if because I can't make it over there this time, but when I do, who I want to be on the on the invite list. Who I do and who I don't. Maguch and Gianni definitely on the list. All right. What is this guy even fucking talking about? The Greater North America Project.
That is why President Trump has drawn a new strategic map from Greenland to the Gulf of America to the Panama Canal and its surrounding countries. At the Department of War, we call this strategic map the Greater North America. Why? Because every sovereign nation and territory north of the equator, from Greenland to Ecuador and from Alaska to Guyana, is not part of the global.
From Alaska to what? Guyana, you dumb. This fucking guy, man. He doesn't even know. I bet I could do better on GeoChamp than this clown.
Territory north of the equator, from Greenland to Ecuador and from Alaska to Guyana, is not part of the global south. It is our security perimeter in this great neighborhood that we all live in. Each one of these countries border either the North Atlantic or the North Pacific. Each one of these countries sits north of the two basic geographic barriers that exist in this region, the Amazon and the Andes Mountains. This is basic geography that we don't teach in schools as much as we should. And it restores our north-south relations, and we must get it right. In the north, the United States must enhance posture and presence in cooperation with you and our sovereign partners to defend our.
I don't know if it's me or what's going on with this, or it's just a video, why it's doing that.
Shared immediate security perimeter. In the south, meaning south of the equator, the other side of this great neighborhood, we will strengthen partnerships through increased burden sharing. This will enable you to take your greater role to defend the South Atlantic and the South Pacific, and to secure critical infrastructure and resources in partnership with us and other Western nations. This is what we did in World War II, just like we sunk ships with torpedoes in World War II. At the Department of War, we called it the quarter sphere defense. And we will do this again. If we're serious about our.
That was a hard watch because it kept buffering. Sorry about that. Yeah, I don't understand what the fuck he's talking about. We call this map the Greater North America. Like the Greater Israel Project, I have no idea. Anyway, let's go back to the chat. It's going to be nice to sit down with a bunch of these good folks. Thank you, Tommy and Anthony, for going on 5 years. And Todd, yep. My nephew started on YouTube at 12 years old with just a fishing pole and a drain. Damn. Yeah, that's amazing. That's a real life story for YouTube right there, you know. That is awesome. My son has been watching Paul now too because he watches this kid Flair from Iowa. I guess Paul's cameraman editor was also Flair's for a few years, and now he's into. That's crazy. It's a pleasure to watch his channel. Yes. 100. Yep, one of the good guys at YouTube for sure. Just like a completely, I mean, you can't even put it to words. It's just like, it's so original, it's not even funny, you know. It's so original because it's like being built and created on a daily basis, you know. Some things that are going to be on video in a year probably don't even exist right now. You know what I mean? It's like that type of a thing. Very cool. Candace Owens talking about CIA Mormon missions. Tyler Boyer went to Russia for 2 years. He did missions. He's fluent in Russia. Yes, it's very interesting to find out that all of the Turning Point USA characters have ties to Russia and Romania and all kinds of Eastern European and China and sex trafficking and gambling and the military. It is definitely the definition of the deep state,
honestly probably some of these CIA Mormon missions, because I know Tyler went to Russia for 2 years, and someone in Russia told me that he got kicked out for like spying, but I don't know if it's true, whether he was using a different name. It's a narrative that I am prodding, but he did do his mission for 2 years in Russia. He's fluent in Russian. And there's a lot of evidence that Charlie is working, Tyler, is working with the deep state. And that is very clear to me. And the same can be said, obviously, for Erika. We are looking at evidence that she is not at all who she claims to be. To me, she appears to be brainwashed. It's like she's sleepwalking. And that's why there's a part of me that wants to shake her. It's like seeing someone sleepwalking and you're going, what happened to you? What program were you in? Why are you like this? You can't just keep saying words and expect nobody to listen to the words and put together a series and a timeline to figure out whether any of these words have meaning. And thus far, they do not.
Yes, 100% they're part of the dark Kabbalah. Gianni, in fact, they're like, I mean, Benjamin Netanyahu is, and Ben Shapiro, it's all intertwined, 100%. She does look a little bit brainwashed, a little bit. But, you know, the thing with Candace Owens is she was part of that. She admits that she was brainwashed by these guys. And it took a lot for her to kind of break away from it. And, you know, she still is, she's very theological. Her husband has multiple degrees in theology. So she has, she's got some really interesting views. I don't even know, like when it comes to religion, like exactly where she stands. She's very smart, very well spoken, and she definitely knows what she's talking about when it comes to putting together a timeline and showing. I mean, she's exposed these guys, single-handedly exposed. That's why I say she's the most important person in the 21st century. She's single-handedly exposed these guys, and she's broken it. She's broken the whole thing apart. We're seeing cracks in the matrix because of her. Like, it's like, oh, like I was saying earlier about like, when the government controls the sports, when I say all that, like I never in a million years thought that I would get to see like what they look like. And then this is it. Like, you know, obviously it's a lot bigger than this, but it's a crack in the matrix. Like, oh, now I get it. Now, you know, like why was Charlie killed in Utah? Because of the Mormons, and they're part of, you know, UVU is known for being a CIA hub for recruiting new intelligence kids. And, you know, it's the whole web gets kind of cracked open a little bit. It's really interesting. And we're going to get into the gambling part of it next week. But it is, but she does admit that she was brainwashed by them. And, you know, can you ever fully get out of it? You know, because she does go in deep on people, and she does, you know, I think, and, you know, and I don't know who said this, but I heard this one time, that there is a fine line between success and psychosis. And that the true successful people in life, if you're going to be hyper successful, you know, just make it mega rich, like a Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Tim Cook. I mean, the list goes on and on. You're going to be more, you know, if it's a 51-49 percentage, you're going to be 51% psychotic. You know, you have to be a psycho. Michael Jordan had to be a psycho. They all had to be psychos to get to that point. It's just kind of how it is, you know, to make it to that level. But why is that? And I think part of the reason why it is because of the people that control everything. We're seeing that now. You know, it's like, in order to break through, and we can use Magucha's nephew again as an example. You know, YouTube created a way for people to become successful without having to sell their soul to the devil. Very few people can do that. Very few people have the ambition and the drive and the consistency, the work ethic to pull it off, because I think that's what it comes down to. When you work for yourself, the work ethic is just like that. you can't put enough emphasis on that, because without you, the whole ship sinks. And so if you don't have the drive to do it, and it doesn't matter how much drive you have today, if you don't have that same drive tomorrow and the next day and the next day, it's still going to sink. It's just how it is. It's so very few people have what it takes to go that route. Most people that become successful have to sign the contract. And then that automatically puts you in that category of over here in the, signing a deal with the devil, whether you realize it or not. You know what I mean? You may not be big enough to even have to worry about it. You're never going to get to the edges of the contract to where you're like, oh, ouch. You know what I mean? So the deep state. These guys, I don't know where they are, but they are just lit a campfire and want to watch Iran and Israel bomb each other from a distance. So they want to, here, I'll put it on mute. So let me go back up here. Gambling. Yes. Gambling. Come to find out. Well, first of all, Miriam Adelson, who is the largest donor to Trump for his presidency, gave him $250 million at least. Her husband ran the Sands. So there's a tie right there with gambling. Then you go into Turning Point USA, because these guys are all related back to Israel. Like Turning Point USA, Erika Kirk talks about how they met in Israel. Her and Charlie met in Israel. And it's some, like normal people don't go to Israel all the time, but for some reason these people always go to Israel. And so, and then the gambling connections between Erika Kirk's mother, Lori France Vey, and it just opens, it cracks wide open from there. And come to find out that there's a lot of gambling connections, online offshore gambling connections to these guys. So but she hasn't got into it yet. I think that's next week. Success and psychosis. Interesting concept. Yeah. You got to be, and just my opinion, I think you got to be a psycho to get to a certain level, like in sports and even in business, It's just wild. It all depends on what your success is based on. If it's ill-gotten gains, you're more apt to get pulled into the darker. Yep, 100%. And for a lot of people, that's what it is. I think it's a lot of people go into it naive. They don't really understand what they're getting themselves into. They don't get it. They haven't lived enough life. And I think that's why they go after them young. Likewise, earned and positive gains might bring you closer to the light. 100%. And that's why I'm saying it's like so powerful to do it on your own, And I love doing what I'm doing, even though I'm not making a ton of money. It just feels really good to just do it on your own. You know what I mean? And not have to worry about all that garbage, because there's a lot of it out there. What was Erika doing in Israel? What the fuck? She Jewish? Maybe the blonde map is that. Now she's definitely. Well, it's weird when you hear that. It's like it's hard to wrap your brain around, Johnny. When let's see here. I'll see. I don't know if I can find one real quick.
Hate is hate. It's evil. Charlie and I have always been very clear on our stance. Israel and Jewish people. It's awful. Awful. Anti-Semitism is what healing factor comes out of hating Jewish people? What healing factor comes out of hating Christians? What healing factor comes out? Hate in general. No.
Right, Erika. Where's the one where she's saying she went to Israel to meet her husband?
But it goes to the point where if, for example, if I have less ability sometimes online to criticize the Israeli government about backlash than actual Israelis do.
He looks a lot like Hitler for some reason. There's one that I can't find it. Where she's laughing about it.
Nothing. I will never forget the time I was in Israel with my husband. Well, that was the second time, but the first time with my mother on a pilgrimage. And I was standing in the ticket line. And I remember looking behind me. And in the snake of the ticket line was a guy who looked very familiar. I had no idea who he was. And I told my mom, this guy looks so familiar. And as a typical mother, she said, go and say hi. No. We were late for our flight, and I'm not going to come off like a crazy person that's just weird. That ended up being Charlie. Nothing is by coincidence. Now, did we know that? No, not until we were like 3 months into our relationship and looking at timestamps, seeing that both of us were in Israel at the same time. But nothing is by coincidence.
Yeah, it's not by coincidence when you have military intelligence and your mom, is CIA, and you stalked him. You stalked him so you could honeypot him, take over his business, and then kill him, and then take over his business. I mean, I think that's kind of what happened. Yeah, we don't know about her at all, right? Yeah. The Hitler thing, it's weird. Because he does look like a little bit like Hitler, which is, I just can't get past it. I know there's something there, like, was he part of this whole fucking charade himself? It's hard to say. If you kill Americans anywhere on earth, we will hunt you down and kill you, says Pete Hegseth. But yet, 9 Americans have been killed by Israeli settlers in the West Bank, including, and I said yesterday, the 23-year-old girl from Olympia, Washington, here in Washington State, back in 2003, ran over by an Israeli bulldozer because she went over there to protest the destruction of Palestinian land. So, do you really let a bulldozer run you over? I mean, they don't even move that fast. Are you going to stand there and let a bulldozer crush you? It sounds more like they probably shot and killed her and then ran her over. But that's just me. Oh, we'll move on. Ben Gavir, this dude is such a fucking tool. Let me put his picture up. The defense minister of, the minister of national security, Israeli politician. I don't know if you guys know who he is. He's a fucking smut, gaslighting little fucking puck. And now he's fucking has to pull a gun in Israel on his own people. So, let me get back to X-Files here.
של הסכנת חיים שלנו. ככה. אתה מפקיר את החיים שלנו. החיים שלנו. תראו בהם. אם זורקים אבנים יורים בהם. לראות בהם. אם זורקים אבנים יורים בהם. אם החיים שלנו רק תת בקלפי. רק תת. אם זורקים אבנים יורים בהם. איתמר, למה אתה שולח? סכנת חיים שלנו. איתמר, למה אתה שולח נשק?
So I don't have any context to that, but all hell's breaking loose over there, it seems like. She's a pretty girl. That's how you get the Trojan horse in, make it look like something you'd accept. Yeah, exactly. All I can picture is the steamroller running the guy over in Austin Powers. 5 minutes of him standing there before it reached him. Exactly. Yeah, I never seen that, but that's and they were probably making reference to that. It's impossible. No one in their right, you got to be mentally unstable to allow that to happen to you. You know what I mean? Like, there's just no way. It doesn't happen. But that's the official story. Stu Peters posted this. I think we all know what this picture represents. That was the waiter. I think they made a documentary about this guy from the Twin Towers called The Invisible Man or The Forgotten Man, something like that. Him falling upside down to his death. Remember all the people that jumped off the building and stuff like that during 9/11? And Stu Peters posted, it says, another American dying for Israel. And that is so true. Because the same people that are doing all this, in my opinion, they did 9/11, blamed it on Saudi Arabian hijackers. No, it was Israel. Jewish Zionist Larry Silverstein is the one that still owns the Twin Towers. They're building another one. So he put out a big insurance policy, took down those 2 towers. Obviously, they were brought down with explosives. No way in hell a plane does that. I mean, I know nobody believes that. Why does it look like the falling man is wearing a straitjacket? Well, I'll tell you my honest opinion, Gianni. And I wasn't there. I don't know nobody in New York. But once I started, I'll say like 2007, give or take. I started learning about a bunch of shit, and then my eyes got opened wide to everything from the government controlling the weather to HARP to fucking 9/11 being a fraud. I think a lot of that was AI. Are we to think that the government didn't have the ability to make AI videos back in 2000 and in 2001? That we say that technology is 30 years ahead. So I'm not saying planes didn't crash into the building, but I'm just saying my opinion is that what we see on video is not real, including the people jumping off the building. I mean, for me, I've jumped off of a skyscraper. I jumped off of the stratosphere. It's like 808 feet. The Twin Towers are probably a lot higher than that, I would imagine. But it's terrifying. And there's no way, even at 808 feet, you're not going to, even at 808 feet, you're not going to jump off of that stratosphere. I don't care if there's a fire up there or not. And they showed us a picture of a couple hold hands and run and jump off that building. They had the wherewithal to hold hands and jump off the building because they knew that it was going to collapse because skyscrapers, they don't ever collapse. So that's impossible that they knew the building was going to collapse. But yet they decided that it was bad enough that they needed to hold hands and run and jump to their death off of a skyscraper. I mean, I could tell you, like, when I got off the elevator up there and I had on a jumpsuit and I knew that I was only going to be traveling 45 miles an hour down the jump accelerator, I was so nervous I couldn't think straight. My head was spinning. I felt like I was going to puke. I couldn't believe I paid $160 to do this. And I'm going to film my death because I have a GoPro on my wrist. I don't see it. I don't see people holding hands jumping off a building. Good luck. Good luck with that. Now, you might be able to convince me that you like it's so bad that you have to, you just get forced off of it. But fuck that, man. I never believed that shit. I just didn't. It's my own opinion. You can't just do it. Yeah, I agree. What did I jump off of? The stratosphere, Gianni. I'll show you. I will show you. I have me on video doing it, but I don't have it readily available. But I'll show you the jump. Anybody can do it.
New Hylu B5 cream, 88% soft, firmer skin. La Roche-Posay.
Is this a commercial for me or for Tommy? What do we got here? La Roche-Posay, Noxzema, B5, Stiliano. Yeah, no, it's for Tommy. Stiliano cream. Yeah.
And stand here in front. Go ahead and turn around now. Look back inside. Last picture. 3, 2, 1. Now turn and face me. All right.
So glad I used the bathroom before.
2 hands right there. 2 hands on that side.
Oh, on this side?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna do some quick checks now.
Yeah.
Name is on. Back to time. Clear.
It's crazy because I think that might even be the same lady that did me. You know, a lot of these guys, if not all of them, are law enforcement. When I was going up the elevator, I mean, I'm just like, I hear people talking. There's a couple people in the elevator with me. I think there's 4 of us. And it sounds like Charlie Brown's parents talking. Wah, 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 like that. I can't comprehend anything. I'm like, I literally, like, my palms are like, I could squirt venom out of them. They're like sweating so bad. And there's a dude, a short dude's going up there holding a bunch of coffee. He's got like 3 coffees in a tray. And I said, "Have you ever jumped before?" And I'm looking like a complete fucking jabroni because I'm wearing this bright neon green jumpsuit. I'm the only one wearing it. The other people are dressed like normal. He goes, "Yeah, I've jumped about over 30 times." And I go, "Dang, really?" Well, then I get up there and I realize, like, this guy who's holding the coffee is the one who's in charge of my life. He's the one that's operating the machine from inside, like, you know, and he's a cop. Like, that's it's like that important that these guys have, like, I don't know, you know, what the connection is, but you have to basically be in law enforcement to operate that machine or something. I don't know. But anyway. And so when you're up here, you walk out to this platform and you got a safety harness on. You're connected from the inside by like this tiny little safety harness. So in case you slip, you're not going nowhere. But then what he's doing here is they basically make you bend over and spread your cheeks is what it feels like. Because you got to hold the rail and then they hook you up to that main cord right here. And then unhook the safety cord. And it's not a good feeling, man. And now when you're hooked up to this main cord, it feels like it just wants to yank you off. As soon as you let go, it's going to yank you off the building.
Now bring this hand to the left side. Hands at the end of the rails.
Right here?
Yeah. Toes on the edge. Ribs
Okay.
come down. Here comes 3, 2, 1, go.
Holy crap!
Woo! Oh my God!
Holy moly! What just happened? Oh my gosh! Building, man.
So that's the sky jump.
Gotta jump off the tower today. All right, so by that one. Straight clear. Put your right hand on the red handle. Left one over here. Your feet to the yellow mark.
Yeah, it does. It slows you down. In fact, I landed on my knees. I didn't even land on my feet. I fucked the whole thing up, Johnny. It's 45 miles an hour, and then it slows you down to a soft landing. No one's ever got hurt on it. It's the thing that Tom Cruise used to like run down the building on Mission Impossible. And I think like terminal velocity when you free fall is like 120 miles an hour. So it's like a third that speed. But I'll tell you, that spot it's fun. The whole ride down is fun. It's jumping off of it is the terrifying part. That part right there is the lead up to it that'll terrify you. I mean, you even go online and, book it. Like if you're going to Las Vegas, I dare somebody to go online and like, go ahead, pay for it and book it ahead of time. Man, you'll start having dreams. Like it's going to freak you the fuck out, man. Even the airplane ride to Vegas, you're going to be nervous. It's wild. But I mean, people skydive and, all that kind of shit. Would I do it again? I don't think I would pay the money to do it again. I don't want to pay $160 to jump again, but my daughter wants to do it. I recommend it if you've never done it. It is fun. All right, let's get back to the X-Files. I think I got a couple more. But anyway, yeah, and you could be right about the fire. The heat could do it. I just thought it was a little much that the people were holding their hands, All right, honey, this is it. I believe I can fly. Anxiety attack. Yeah, it is. I still can't believe I did it sometimes. Like, man. This guy used to play with Kobe Bryant, Jeremy Lin.
So, I mean, I'm not going to name the organization because I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus, but there was one specific game where it really hit me was I had 20 and 10 after 3 quarters. We're up about 15 to 18. And in the fourth quarter in overtime, I didn't play 1 second. And so I'm looking at the assistant coach watching our lead go down. I have 20 and 10 after 3 quarters. Like, I'm on pace to have a real nice game. And and he goes, yeah, we got the call from above. You're done for tonight. And so I was like, what? Like, who picked up the phone? How'd y'all get on the phone in the middle of the game? And he's like, I'm like, what happened? But they got a look from somebody in the crowd was like, no, like, so me and this other player, the other player who was doing, he had like 25 after 3 quarters. They were both like, yo, those two, they're done. And so we ended up losing in overtime. And this was against another team that was also tied for last. And they were trying to get, the best projection and the odds to get the number 1 pick.
And the title said confirms that the NBA is rigged. I don't really consider that being rigged. I mean, that's common knowledge that they do that. I mean, I seen, there was that one year in the NFL where they called it suck for luck. When they were when I think the Colts were trying to get Andrew Luck, the crowd was cheering suck for luck. They wanted the Colts to lose so they could guarantee the number 1 pick. That's not really rigging anything. That's basically just I don't know. I mean, I've never bet on a game like that. I don't know. I don't recommend using that as the reason to bet on a game, but I understand where he's coming from, and I do think sports are rigged. What else do we got? I think that's it, guys. Let me go back. I think that's all the videos I have today. I mean, I fully expect that they're going to come out and say that we're declaring war. I mean, who knows how long it's going to be until they do that? Not today, but soon. That's just my own opinion. Let me go back to the top, see if there's any breaking news. With Barron Messi. Why don't you send Barron? You know what Trump should do is send Barron Trump to go fight. Why don't you send your son to go fight in the war? Trump? How about that? Yeah, right on. I'm gonna head out, guys. I'm gonna go take a shower, and it's 8:30. I got to get my day going. I appreciate everybody hanging out with me, and I will talk to you guys all tomorrow. Gianni, Magooch, Donna, Patty, Michael Mormile, Tommy, Brian. Thanks for hanging out, and we will see you guys over at Thing Dudes.